Well, good morning. It's getting late in July, and so it's kind of the time of the year to do some things that we'll talk about in a minute. But first, I wanted to share this plant with you. This is a monk's hood, and this plant has gotten much bigger than I expected. And I'm hoping for some buds here pretty soon. But the reason I have this plant is when I took systematic botany at the University of Idaho, we found wild monkshood out in the forest, and that was one of the plants that we identified. And I really, really loved that plant when I found it. So when I found this, when I had to have it, and it's kind of awkward and in a big place, but I kind of like it. This is the time of year when I start looking at what I've got and thinking what's not working right, what plant is in the wrong place, what's being crowded and needs to be moved. And the problem is by September, October, when it's a good time to move perennials, I have forgotten. So what I like to do is to take just some stakes and go out here and identify some plants that need to be moved. As you can see, this Rebecca that I've got growing in here is quite, that's a thug. It really grows. If you look over here, there's one that's fully developed. So what I've got is a little plant here. It's not going to survive. Oops, there's a weed too, with this Rebecca growing next to it. So I'm going to need to move that plant. So I'll put a stake right there by it. And here's a couple more right here. So we'll put a stake right in there. And of course over here is one of our dahlias. And every year we have to dig up the dahlias. So I'll put a stake by it so I won't forget about it. Oops, I need to go the other direction with this. So in the fall, when everything dies back, I can just take a quick look out here and go, oh yeah, those are the things I need to move. This, no, there's one clear way over there. I better get it. It's definitely got to be moved. So having marked these plants in here, when I go into the house later on today, I have a little notepad and I will write down, move flowers in front flower bed, so that I will remember I've got some work to do in this bed. This bed over here, I think looks fine, the end one, so we'll just leave it alone. Now let's go back and take a look at our summer squash. We wanted to talk about that a little bit with you. Well, we're back in the berry patch where, if you remember, we had a couple of summer squashes here that we were fighting the squash beetles. Well, we lost the battle, I guess, here because we came out one day and they were just on the ground. So we pulled them up. The interesting thing is this one seems to be uninfected. We are still checking it every day, going through the leaves, looking for signs. But so far, it's looking good. I did see something interesting that I'm going to check out probably for next year, but Burpees has they call it a cucumber beetle attracting thing that attracts them and then they stick to it. I might try that next year and see if we have better luck. While we're out of the berry patch, I just wanted to show you, if you remember, we pruned these all back and you can see how they then sprout here so that you've got more. And look at clear down here, all along.
Yeah, and notice the clamp she's using instead of the tie pieces of twine.
And
it's so much easier.
These little out branches are where the berries are going to be. Everybody needs a place to stash things in the summer sometimes. House plants, whatever it is. And this is my little place here where I stash things. I've got some grasses here that I'm going to plant later this fall. This is a chokecherry that I started from our chokecherry bush, and I'll be planting that this fall. This is a house plant. I divided that plant, and I've given one away, and so I'm looking for a home for that one. But it really likes being outside. It's happy. These are just some more plants that I've dug up. And I'll be planting all those this fall when it's a little better. But this is kind of a shady, nice, cool spot for them. In addition to that, we are just continuing to deadhead things. I did want to share our hazelnut trees and just talk to you a little bit about that. We have 3 hazelnut trees. And I don't know why that one is so small, but it is covered with hazelnuts this year. So, and that all of them are this year. It looks like we're going to have an amazing crop of hazelnuts. And then back behind that, Al, why don't you show them the hibiscus that is starting to bloom? Today we have a nice, cool morning, so we're going to probably work out here pretty hard for a couple hours.
Well, just one thing I wanted to point out down here, these 2 flowers that you found growing volunteer in the garden that you put into the pots.
Let's show that. Strangely, in the raised beds this year, I had a couple of plants come up. Looks like they're cannas. And so I dug them up yesterday because they were being crowded. They look kind of sad now, but so I decided to go ahead and pot them up, and hopefully they'll bloom, and I want to see how different they look. So this canna is very happy right here, so I put these next to it. Looks like I need to deadhead this. And here's another dahlia that needs to be deadheaded.
What we don't know about these is they're volunteers that somehow got planted into the raised beds. We don't know if they're going to be hybridized with some other color, so we're going to be very interested to see what the color of the flowers are.
Show them this echinacea. This is a different colored echinacea that I got.
It's
this one right here. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that.
Yep, that surely is. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. See you next week.
Bye.